For me, I was thinking this doesn't make any sense that all of this is happening at once. It just felt like everything was crumbling. I don't think it was a coincidence. I think it was a wake-up call. It's like in Jerry Maguire when Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character gets sacked and the wife's like, if he's not here, none of this works. You know, like if we are not doing this together, none of this works. It all falls down. And I just remember thinking in that moment, like, we have got to figure out a way to do this that's sustainable for the long term and not allow these swings in the business or these busy seasons, as we call them, that are just actually the pace that we live at, overwhelm us.
It's time now to answer some of your business questions. The first one is about the state of small business.
There's more to life than building this business.
Now, another pinch, inflation.
Let's get to new data on small business owners' confidence in the wake of the collapse.
It is not going to strictly rise and fall on the two of you.
Small businesses are feeling the pinch when it comes to supply chain issues and the economy. And new data that focuses on how small businesses are being impacted.
Small business owners across the country say they are very concerned about the future, and that's as ongoing issues within the economy continue to impact their operations.
For some businesses, it's been devastating, perhaps even more so for small businesses.
Did you know that there are chasms that every business owner faces along their journey to freedom? And they're usually around these identities of the hustler, the entrepreneur, the CEO, and the owner. Where do you fit in here right now? At some point in life along the journey of jumping these chasms, as a business owner, you probably looked in the mirror and you asked yourself, why did I start this business? Is it worth it? Will I make it?
I think that one of the best things that happens when you decide to jump the chasm and you're ready to jump the chasm is it feels like you're starting that energy, like you're starting another company, or it feels like a new startup almost, because things are going to have to change.
And along the journey, most business owners face a constant tension between two parts of their life, the personal side and the professional. It's a constant battle, and one that actually a lot of business owners lose. Maybe you can relate.
Professionally and personally. And I think it feels kind of like, oh, we're in this new season of growth and startup.
Is it possible to have a more whole life as a business owner who wants to create freedom and success at the same time? This movie seeks to answer that question so that you can have not only a better business, but a better life at the very same time.
But I just know that there are a lot of business owners who need an environment where they can grow as a whole person.
Meet Brian and Shannon Miles, two regular Midwest people who came from humble beginnings, married for 29 years, parents to two wonderful kids, and co-CEOs of multiple businesses. One they recently sold for over $100 million cash, without any VC funding, totally bootstrapped. They usually keep a low profile, but they have a heart for mentoring, which is why they started this nonprofit called Owner.
I've seen a lot of programs for growing your business. I've seen a lot of self-help and different, psychological methods that are helping business owners and across the board. Awesome. For us, we want to blend that and recognize the interconnectedness between, like what you were saying, who you are as a business owner and who you are as a person, and breaking that firewall down.
and to ultimately address a major problem they've seen in the marketplace, which is how do you create harmony between your professional and personal life as a business owner? And because this is a nonprofit, we're not here to profit off your pain. We made this film just to help you.
If you're watching this and feeling like, gosh, they've had some success, what does this mean for me?
So here's what we're going to do for the next hour together. Over the course of 12 months, we quietly documented a special story just for business owners. And you're going to go on a journey with us across parts of the US and even Europe as we uncover 3 specific mistakes owners are making that keep them from jumping these revenue chasms.
I think that what it really means to be part of the story is that you are going to start to tell the world that I'm going to be a person, I'm going to be a business owner that focuses on myself and my person as much as my business.
So in Chapter 1, The 4 Realities, we invite you to a very private Georgia dinner where business owners who are in the owner community, as we open up a discussion around how to overcome the 4 major tensions that business owners face all the time: financial pressure, isolation, mental health and stress, and finally, work-life balance.
Because bringing all of me to the business ownership table is how we're going to grow and create a meaningful asset for our families and for our communities.
And then in Chapter 2, The 3 Mistakes, we head over to Jackson, Wyoming, and we open up and pinpoint these really important 3 mistakes get in the way of every business outcome you're after. In Chapter 3, The 5 Shifts, we head to the beaches of Florida, where we begin to discuss these important 5 shifts that Brian and Shannon had to make so they could finally break through these chasms. And then in Chapter 4, A New Way Forward, we head back to Georgia and we discuss the differences in what we call the old ways versus the new ways of doing business, and how you can apply them starting today in your business after you're done watching.
Especially small business in our country. It's the backbone of the American economy. It literally is. It's not the fancy stories of the Fortune 100s.
And finally, in Chapter 5, 2 critical choices to discuss these 2 very important choices business owners really are faced with so that you could have a meaningful exit or just a better business that helps your family, sets up your legacy, and just creates a better life for you.
That's part of the economy, but what most people don't realize is small business is what powers the American economy. That's a lot of business owners, men and women, trying their best every day, getting up and trying to grow their company.
So you're about to download 15 years of business wisdom in one short, adventurous hour. And now throughout this movie, we're going to invite you to go deeper with us by jumping into the 8-episode Season 1 course of Owner, where we dive into the personal and the professional principles that Brian and Shannon used to grow, scale, sell their business, and just have a better life overall. And because it's by donation only, you can literally pay anything you want. So if you're a business owner who wants to sell someday or create more freedom in your business without torching your relationships, your health, or your peace, this documentary unpacks ways to actually do it, done by people who have actually done it. And if that's important to you, then this will be the most important movie that you watch all year. Let's begin.
You're just way more than your business. You're a father, you're a husband, you're a wife, you're a son, you're a mentor, you're a lot of things that's more than your business. And so when you start to really see that this business can be a vehicle for your future, you start making decisions that are more in line with that vision that you're aiming at versus being stuck in a decision that might just be kind of moving you lateral inside of what you're wanting to do with the company. Welcome to our reality TV show that you're on. That we'll be doing a sacrifice tonight. Shannon and I are just really excited that you all are here. We've walked alongside you guys in so many cool things and opportunities that you guys have navigated and challenges. And tonight specifically is a night where we get to have a really cool conversation that will help a lot of business owners. We're on the eve of launching Owner, and I am stoked to do this with this amazing woman, but I'm excited to do this with you guys too, because your stories and what you'll tell will represent a lot of business owners in our country that will go, I see that, I identify with that, I get that, I feel that, I've had that happen to me.
Come as you are, be yourselves, have a good time, but share as much as you think will be helpful for you 10 years ago, when you were starting your businesses, when you were trying to figure it out. What do you wish you would have known that you've learned over the years, whether it's through mentoring or connecting with one another, or just the hardness of being a business owner and also caring a lot about your family and who you are as a person.
To Zach. To Zach.
Hey. All right. Yo, 4 a.m. I'm in. So let's,
Yep. I'm good. So me personally, I have had seasons in my life where even though I'm married to my business partner, I have felt like I literally couldn't come to her and share with her my personal struggles about the business or what's going on personally, because it's all intertwined.
There's the, hard business decisions, and then there's the hard business decisions that affect people that you genuinely care about. Mm-hmm. And with people who approach business like we do, where it's not just a transaction, you're not just creating a SaaS company that you're wanting to flip and sell, you're actually caring about people, about their kids. Those are really hard. Those were the most stressful decisions that I've ever had to make in business, were the ones that surrounded people's lives.
I heard someone say that, I think it was one night random, I was looking up burnout, what actually burnout is. I thought was burnout, am I burned out? Google, tell me, am I burned out? Yeah. Tell me this is what it is. And Google said, courtesy of that burnout is an extended exposure to stress.
I think for business owners, it's not if you face a stressful time or phase or multiple, it's just when you will face those deep, deep valleys. And it's not then when you want to start searching for your community, your people. You want to have those people way before those valleys start.
Card tables, I remember all my Zoom meetings were on my ironing board with a huge pile of ironing to do because I could never get to it. But I would just swish it over and then stand there in my master bedroom because it's the only place with all our bedrooms were full with children. But I mean, we're only 8.5 years old, but those first few years just felt like drowning.
It was 550 days of showing up to work to give money away. Employees, a McDonald's, somebody flipping burgers showed up and made even minimum wage. I'd show up and I'd lose money that day for working. And psychologically for 550 days, that was.
And there's going to be folks that are watching this that, are waking up and they have no one to talk to. They are lonely, they're isolated, they have no mentor, they don't have a spouse that's interested, they don't have a friend that cares. And how are they supposed to go through their day and articulate what's going on in them? The pressure that a business is.
Gosh, well. Both came from really, I would say not affluent by any means. So I think we're crossing the season right now of caring for our parents. That's a whole nother conversation that I'm like, whoa, that's, so I think it's been, I think I had this goal of like, you just keep striving, what's next. And I think in 22, we definitely took a big hit with the economy, with interest rates. And
what helped me was knowing where my heart was and the posture of my heart. And like Anissa was saying, when I'm with clients, I'm with clients. But when I'm with my family, I'm with my family.
So no, I don't have to. You know, like truly, like it is a bit of a gauntlet we all go through, and there's some sort of wake up point for each of us. So maybe it's just that like it's a normal pursuit of that myth, and then it's a really freeing experience once you get to the top of the fault summit and realize, wait a minute, the other summit I'm supposed to be on is over there, but you climb that other summit, and that's where you feel stable and safe.
I mean, we all started our business because we fell in love with an idea. We fell in love with this concept that we thought might work and will impact our economy in a good way. Maybe we're crazy about interior design or about finance and helping people like get financed, you know, or maybe we help people have awesome trips, you know, or build beautiful things, or help them in HR, you know, like in a meaningful way or in a fractional way, or help them in a beautiful way to tell a story from a marketing standpoint. But then it just stops there because I have no one to talk to.
Blur the lines between personal and professional, and it can be really difficult to feel like you've got any of it in balance. You always kind of feel like I do anyway, feel like I'm sacrificing one for the other, and then it's like, oh no, I've gone too far over this way, I gotta come back over. And it can cause a strain, you know, constantly trying to juggle that.
And then I had to lay off 4 people unexpectedly, and I felt isolated, alone. I felt like a failure. I felt like I had people look at me like, how did you let this happen? And I'm like, who's gonna trust me anymore? And it was really embarrassing. And then looking at the rest of my team, and you're like, you want to keep going with me? Because, and then, yeah, definitely went into depression for a season, tried to hide it from the kids.
I just wanted to say, like, I think what you said was really brave, and also, like, I think if you are a business owner watching this, it's really important to be like, oh yeah, like, maybe this is bigger than I'm disappointed with that last hire.
Yeah.
If I've been frustrated about that last situation, that last mistake for a year, is probably a little bit more than just the circumstance from last year.
And also just talking to our kids too. It's like, this is gonna be a hard season for, in our case, mom and dad, but we're wanting to grow this for our family, we're wanting to grow this for y'all.
So I want to talk about that, I want to unpack that. I'm blessed because I have a wonderful bride where I literally, for almost 28 years, have been able to share what we're doing in business. But I recognize that a lot of Americans and a lot of business owners don't have that opportunity. And so how do you navigate that? Like in your own lives, when you want to say something and you can't, when you feel I'm so isolated and I want to talk about my payroll, or I want to talk about this thing, but my friends don't understand because they perceive my success as too much. Where do you go? Who do you talk to? How do you handle this? Because it's different for every single business owner.
When I hear you talk about like validating, and I think about the entrepreneurial journey, I think that's one of the like biggest things missing from it. Because, you know, if you're like working up your way in a corporate ladder, you might have a boss that gives you like an atta-girl or atta-boy, and that never happens in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And by choice, right? We've chosen not to have that person above us, but like at the same time, it can, and I know we'll talk about loneliness soon, but like that lack of validation from above or below, because then it becomes like so thankless, right? You scale up and then you only hear the problems, like you never even get to see some of the benefits of the company at a certain point. I think that leads to it's like a cyclical issue, right? That leads to additional burdens on your stress and mental health. And
yeah, on the isolation front, it seems like the more you grow or success you have, the more isolated you become. You've told me that. And I found that to be abundantly true. My dad told me the same thing, and I've just seen it play out in people's lives. And then you see that it kind of goes one of two directions, where somebody either completely craters because you are exposed or given opportunities or things that you don't have the capacity to handle, nor do you have the support group around you to get through it, or it's the inverse, where somebody chooses to be vulnerable, transparent, and surround yourself with, in my case, like-minded men that are similar seasons of life that care about you, your family, outside of just your business that we talked about.
As for man, his days are like grass. He's like a flower who flourishes in the fields, and the wind blows over it, and it's gone, and its place remembers it no more. But our opportunity is, if we give it away for the sake of others, if we expand, then our life can make an impact, and a meaningful impact, for generations, or we can change the trajectory of, one question can change the trajectory for forever, for a family. We're trying to exemplify that. Expand, gain power, and give it away for the sake of others, for the good of others.
I mean, I think it was the getting honest, honestly. I think it had been so many years of, that kind of like running away from, like hiding a little bit and trying to hold it together and feel like I knew what I was doing. And then I think it's the getting honest. So I think vulnerability is a huge piece of that. And even down to, with I'm thinking of like your accountants or financial, like being vulnerable with them and saying, I don't actually know what you're saying when you're saying. I don't understand the words that are coming out.
That's important.
I talked to a friend of mine recently who filed bankruptcy, and he said so many insecurities are tied up in finances. And if we could just say outright to our accountant, to our team, to our mentor, I don't know what's going on and I need help, it would save so many problems.
You can't predict or prepare for everything, but there are some pretty solid fundamental best practices when it comes to how do you give yourself the highest chance of success.
And that's what we're about to get into right now. But before we dive into the mistakes, I'm going to invite you really quickly into getting the owner course. It's by donation only, which means you can pay anything you want to, and it unpacks the professional and personal principles that Brian and Shannon used to grow their businesses, to grow their life, all at the same time. So grab that course and let's continue this movie. Many business owners believe that if they just worked harder and pushed through or sold more, they'd eventually reach a point where they could step back, enjoy life, and maybe even one day sell their business for a huge payday. Unfortunately, that day usually never comes. Why? Well, because they've fallen into 3 deadly mistakes. These mistakes keep them trapped, prevent real growth, and make their business completely unsellable.
And you're going to try some things that don't work, and you're going to break some things that were sacred cows. Like, one of the things we say is no sacred cows. Like, when you get to certain places in the business and things aren't working anymore, let's just take the cows out and shoot them. And that can be re-energizing.
Yeah. Who's excited? Yeah? We excited or what? Yeah.
And it also can be energizing to your team too, because they see you acting. So you'll be in a situation where you're like, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. We've decided that this is not something we're going to put up with, or we're going to change. And then when they see you kill the cow, basically, they get excited by that because, oh wow, our leaders, our business owners are doing something that's really proving that they want to change and to grow this business. And a lot of people that work for you, they want to see that type of action. They want to be working with you because you're a leader worth following, and a leader worth following does things like that.
Mistake number 1, the business depends on you to function, or what we call the owner reliance trap. I know this is something you've probably heard before, but we have to go for the very basics first.
You know, it sometimes seems impossible to be able to trust somebody else with the thing that you loved and created. You know, oftentimes businesses are compared to having children. And I found that analogy to be very true with our experience. It's like, yeah, you give your life and your dedication and your time and money and energy to this thing that grows, hopefully, and gets to a point where it doesn't actually need you as much anymore. And if you're doing it right and you're trying to maximize the value of your business, you don't want it to need you anymore. You want it to be that angsty 18-year-old who's ready to get out of the house.
Yep, that's right.
So the mistake is that as the owner, maybe you're the face, the decision maker, the key operator of the business. Every problem, or almost all of them, comes down to you. Every major decision is yours. The company exists because of you rather than independent of you.
We see that happening with a lot of business owners, and then when you try to just hold on to that thing, when you try to pretend like that high schooler is not ready to go off to college and you want to just hang on to the season, that's when the wheels really start to come off, and that's when you start to lose really good people.
But the result of that is that if you ever step away, the entire thing grinds to a screeching halt. Investors, buyers, leaders, or even great talent, when they see this, they immediately walk away. And the reality is this: 80% of businesses who are listed for sale never get sold. The number one reason for this? Buyers don't want a business that falls apart when the owner leaves.
But when you think about, okay, well, how do I get past that? It's all about trust. It's all about trusting people to steward the business as well as you would.
But that's only half the problem. What about your personal life? If the business is so reliant on you, it means that vacations are not happening. It means that your partnerships, marriage, children, and your health are suffering greatly because of it. So ask yourself this: if you took a 6-month vacation today, would your business still run without you? And if the answer is no, you don't own a business, you own a job.
Yeah, I mean, nothing great happens with just one person. Right. I mean, anything that you're going to have that's of value, of size for your company is going to be way more than you. And you have to acknowledge that as a business owner. You know, like, and I tell this to people all the time, is like, hey, when you go to start delegating who you are as the business owner, it's not a one-to-one. It's not like, hey, I'm going to replace myself, my whole self. You're like, no, I'm going to chop off my arm, and then that's sales, and I'm going to chop off this arm, and that's HR, and I'm going to chop off this foot, and it's finance, and you chop off pieces of you, because as a business owner, you can't replace yourself one-to-one.
Yeah. I would love to come up with another analogy for that, the chopping off part, but I haven't found one yet. So
I just keep thinking of the Monty Python thing. It's just a flesh wound.
Hope, where we at?
I think it might have been. It's startling, right?
Sometimes, yeah. I get so used to ignoring it that all of a sudden when I was supposed to pay attention to it, I was like, what's happening? We are at Snake River raft tour.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Float down in the snake.
Mistake number 2, there's no clear exit strategy or business model designed to sell or to create freedom for you. This is what we call the built to run, not built to sell problem.
The panic that hits most business owners is because they didn't plan well. And it's been true in our case as well, like, oh, we didn't think about that, or we didn't critically sit down and wonder about this thing, and then all of a sudden something hits you upside the head and you pay your stupid tax. And stupid tax comes in many forms. And after that, you just say, I'm never doing that again.
I mean, honestly, when I've had moments of regret in business or feeling like a failure, and I've had a lot of them, my tendency used to be just to kind of avoid that. Just pick yourself up by your bootstraps and move on. Like I can complete a task, no problem. But the harder thing and the deeper work, I think, is to sit in that and ask myself, like, why can't I get that out of my head? Why do I keep replaying that conversation in my head over and over again? Why do I sit in a place of shame? What am I supposed to learn from that? Like, if it keeps coming up, it needs my attention.
So the mistake is that most business owners focus on just growing revenue, but never design the business in a way that makes it attractive to a buyer, or design a business that helps you ultimately get out of the day-to-day.
I can't begin to tell you how many people, I'm floored by the amount of folks that start businesses that have no intent. They don't know what they're doing with their company. It just blows my mind. Like, why did you start this? I guess I don't know. I mean, honestly, that's an honest answer. It's like I felt like there was a need and I just did it. And instead of them owning a business and being a business owner, what they end up being is an employee to a company that they created. That's what it is when you don't have intent. You're just an employee to the company that you created. And so to see that kind of emerge and then have all these kind of these topical things that are like, yeah, I struggle with that, and yeah, that's really hard, and I identify with you, they can at least go home and know that they're not alone, and then they can hopefully benchmark with each other and grow and learn from each other and their experiences.
A wave and a smile. Very Brady Bunch. It's cool.
She said something, and I'm like,
I'm Hope Ward. I am the Director of Operations for Miles AG. And we are in Jackson, Wyoming at our Miles AG team retreat. We do this once a year and bring our entire team.
I think offsites are really important to invest in the culture of your organization and invest in the individuals. I mean, when you're at home in the day-to-day, you're in the hustle, you're checking things off your list, you're, having very tactical meetings. But when you get away to an offsite like this, it allows you the opportunity to just have a whole new perspective. And we've had conversations this week that we never have had in all the years of working.
Yep.
And it just solidifies your culture.
I think too, it's not another Zoom, and it's not another meeting, and it's not the same old places where you meet. Like Shannon said, it facilitates conversation that may not come otherwise, and you have the blessing of that. And in terms of ROI, it all goes back to culture, and a healthy culture creates great ROI, not just in net worth to the business owner, but also in like ROI of happy people that work in your company.
Well, if you're a business leader or a business owner, actually, if you're a business owner and you care about your bottom line, your net profit, which you should, because it's a good measuring stick for your success as a business, you'll have greater margin, you'll have greater net profit when you focus on your team. What I've discovered is some of the most valuable companies that I've ever participated in with Shannon or have built, they're more valuable, literally on paper, financially, when they have a great culture.
and pour into them for 2 or 3 days and do lots of fun things. Team building, adventure.
I love giving gifts of opportunity for our team to experience things like this. You know, I've had the privilege and honor of doing things like but to be able to do it for our team and let them have an experience like this is pretty cool. It does my heart good.
I'm a firm believer that the more you know yourself, the better leader you are, and the more you can understand your team, the better you can lead them. And so I think today was a really cool opportunity to deep dive into that a little bit and talk about like the dynamics of maybe what my personality type looks like in working with my executive assistant, who we got to have a one-on-one together and kind of dive into that. And some of this is just maturity, I think, over time, but I've seen a gravitation toward being more introverted as I've aged, more introspective, needing that time, even though I'm an E, extrovert. I think that's my wiring. I've come to value some things on the other side of personality profiles that maybe I didn't before. Allowing that time for reflection, introspection, I think leaders have to do that. Otherwise, we're just kind of fending off all of these things that are coming at us from all angles.
I've been the recipient of really great leaders in my life, from leaders who invested in me when I was super young and told me that I was going to be a great leader one day, and they spoke words over my life and over my profession. And for me, part of the reason why we do things like this is because people are way more than titles. They're people. And oftentimes as employers or business owners, we need someone to come in and do a job, and we need them to do it really well. And that's very, very important if they execute. But at the end of the day, they're all people. And I care greatly about our team. And that's why we do things like this. Well, that's why we do the Myers-Briggs test. And that's why we take them on retreats and we lavish them and we spoil them. It's because they matter. And leadership is personal. And when you get personal with people, you have to really know who they are. So that's what we're doing. That's why we're here today.
Something that we had to communicate to them that affected our ability to execute what we're supposed to, and their immediate response is concern and grace and love, because it was very scary. And like, these are my bosses. I have no business sharing something that is personal and traumatic with them. But I can't tell you a single meeting or interaction with them where they don't ask about me as the person. Or like after the experience, after the accident, constantly asking like how we're doing, how they can help, what's the updates with even the bike. Of course, Brian doesn't want us to ride again, but like their immediate response, first and foremost, was us as people.
And so we grind ourselves, and this hustle culture that we are all a part of, you start to realize like, actually those things are lies, and they're not taking me down a path that is part of my long-term vision for my life.
The reality is this: a business must be scalable, predictable, and transferable for investors to be interested. I think we all know that. But what's interesting is that only 20 to 30% of small businesses that go to market actually get sold. The most sellable businesses have recurring revenue, automated operations, and low owner involvement.
And so as you approach these chasms in your business, it's not just, hey, delegate. It's, why am I having a hard time delegating? What have I been told and what have I internalized that's prohibiting me from this thing that I know is essential to growth, that I know is important to work through this chasm?
Yeah, there's a lot of look at yourself in the mirror and acknowledge, I'm doing this because I actually like to do that, or I want to be the hero. A lot of business owners, they keep their businesses very small because they want to be the hero. They want to answer the question. They want to solve the problem. They want to be the hero. And if you want to do that, that's fine, but you're going to have a very small company, because ultimately you're going to have to scale and to jump these chasms. You're going to have to die to your ego. You're going to have to see that, like, no, I need leaders that can solve these things in our business, not me. We see that a lot. It's like they love to solve the problems, and then they wonder, like, why is my company not growing? It's because all of the answers and all the decisions still have to flow through you as the business owner.
Yeah, you're the bottleneck, right?
Yep, you're the bottleneck.
Here's the problem. Most businesses are built to generate cash flow for the owner, which is fine. That was a great first step. But as you grow and mature in business, you learn that the business is not to function as simply just a lifestyle business, but it can evolve into a sellable, meaningful asset for you and for your family. And if the business isn't fundamentally designed to be sold from the start, it can be a challenge to evolve that.
So where are we right now?
We're at Teton Village.
We have a situation on our hands.
We have a big situation on our hands.
What's going down?
Shit sandwich, actually. Well, it's raining on your camera, so that's no good.
Bye-bye.
Sorry. I'm getting used to this. All right, so here's what's going on. As you can tell, I'm getting wet standing out here. But we were supposed to be up on the mountain. But as you can see, that ain't gonna happen.
Oh, whoa, this just rolled in.
So
that was fast.
That's what's happening right now. So our team, we were gonna take them up the mountain for a pretty cool surprise that we're hopefully still gonna surprise them with later on today and just change our schedule. A lot of the things that we do for Miles AG with our team, and really the company cultures that we work for or work with at Nofo and Belay, we really encourage them to have an element of surprise with their teams and keep them guessing. A lot of it is because it brings just a really cool experience to the retreat, and that builds culture, which is something we're massively serious about. So, but yeah, we wanted to have a fun adventurous day, and right now it's being poo-pooed on a little bit by the wetness of the day.
You have a core conviction that has to do with being agile.
Yeah, agile stewardship.
What does that mean?
Well, I'll tell you what it means to me personally is that our team has to remain agile day to day in terms of investments that we oversee. Agile stewardship means that we... Cody! Sorry.
Take it.
What's up, dude? How you doing, bro? Good to see you too. Hey guys, this is Cody Cashman. Look who it is.
Hey!
How are you? Good. How are
I brought
you?
a tactical change of attire for when we were up there.
Good morning, campers. This morning is going to be a lot of fun. One, I think it's important we get out of our comfort zone. And when we get out of our comfort zone, we grow as people and as a team. So we're going to do a really cool team experience. We're at 9,600 feet. If you haven't felt the lack of oxygen yet, you will shortly. Here at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. I'm really excited to do this with you guys. We've got great guides that are with us. Let's have fun. But listen, it's meant to be a little challenging, and that's okay. And just embrace it, be vulnerable, share who you are in this moment with us, and I'll do the same. And let's go get it.
I'm excited.
Excited. We named our company Belay, and people ask me, like, what does it mean? And really, it's the climbing term is on belay, which is this thing where you say like, do you have me? And it's important that in climbing you hear the command back, belay on. So it's a communication. It's on belay, question mark, belay on. And what you're saying is do you have me? Will you protect me while I climb higher? And I think in organizations today especially, we need to do more of that. We need to give encouragement and support to our employees because really, as they climb higher, so does organization. So that's what belay on means, and on belay, do you have me?
It's such a change from the traditional workplace, work field. They give so much trust right off the bat, which is sometimes a little scary making those big decisions, but he always says, fills the gap with trust. You know?
Yeah, we're gonna celebrate Haley real quick.
Well done, look at you. Oh, yeah! It's made me change the way I think about work, really.
So of all the mistakes that we've covered, this next one I think is going to hit home the very most for all of us. And that is trying to do it all alone, or what we like to call the lone wolf syndrome.
It's almost cost my entire family. And I think it's a very painful thing to think about because it's not about the business at all. Because it's a strategy I've navigated my whole life.
Well, just for me, it's easier to talk about like hard times or weaknesses because I feel like it's a little bit more relatable. Even your leadership team, I experienced was like I can't say, hey, I'm making a lot more money this month. This is great. This is awesome.
My brother and I have a rule with our text that it's like a no disclaimer. Like if something great happens, you text it with no disclaimer.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's so fun to get to celebrate with him.
I've got a really special relationship with somebody actually that's within my family that's an entrepreneur. And what made it so special is they're 2 seasons ahead.
It is a truly unique thing to have, someone in your corner.
Awesome.
I think there's something kind of wild that's different between like a cheerleader. Like I would say my mom's always been a cheerleader.
Sure.
She's always been like in my corner. But it's different when somebody actually understands
So true.
what you've gone through that you need to be encouraged about. That's a very different level of support.
Yeah.
And I think isolated entrepreneurs, business owners, capitalists are very, very dangerous.
So the mistake is that most business owners believe that they have to figure everything out on their own. They think asking for help is a weakness, or they rely only on their own knowledge, instincts, on their own hustle, or they just keep things to ChatGPT and Google and hoping that's going to solve the problem. And the result is that a lot of business owners end up hitting a very clear ceiling.
I think the cost is that you're single-minded in your approach. You think that it's, because you don't benchmark and you don't ask for advice or you look around for other ideas, your way is the way, and it may not be the right way. And so it creates a single-minded business owner that it can potentially be in a very bad place and in a vacuum of what they think needs to happen in their business.
Because they don't have outside perspective, they don't have real mentorship or strategies beyond their own experience. And here's the reality. Forbes and Entrepreneur both say that 92% of business owners who scale beyond $1 million have a mentor, a mastermind, or some sort of advisory board.
Isolating and nothing that they could talk about, especially when they hit some really hard patches in their businesses. And so just to be able to say, oh gosh, you were going through that too? I had no idea. I should have called you. we could have commiserated, we could have encouraged each other, but instead, it's just so isolating sometimes as a business owner that we don't think that anybody else can identify with what we're going through.
Solo decision making is one of the top reasons businesses stall out, because the owner is limited by their own blind spots. Look, we won't insult your intelligence. Obviously, you've done a lot of work on your own, trusting your own instincts, trusting in what the next step is. But the fastest way that many business owners fail is the thinking that they have all the answers.
With me, at least, I've sought out mentors because I lost my dad. My dad died when I was young and he was young of cancer, and I needed men in my life that were a couple seasons ahead that could speak into me, and I gave them permission to speak into my life.
You wouldn't try to become an Olympic athlete without a coach. So why would you try to build a multi-million-dollar company without mentorship? Imagine Michael Jordan never having a coach and never playing for a team. He would have never had all those championship rings. And so many business owners are like Michael Jordan without a coach, without a team, just showing up every day trying to win.
Isolation, it just breeds single-mindedness. It doesn't help you get further down the road.
So before we jump into the 5 shifts, I want to invite you yet again into participating inside of the Owner course. These are 8 episodes inside of season 1 that help you unpack the personal and professional principles that Brian and Shannon used to grow their life. These can be really helpful in overcoming some of the mistakes that we just talked about. The fact is, business owners make mistakes all the time, but this course will help you possibly make some adjustments so that you can have a better life and a better business. And because it's by donation only, you can pay anything you want. We'll see you inside.
When we built this house, we envisioned opportunities like this just to have friends and people that were meeting for the first time over to just have a good time and celebrate life. We have so much to be grateful for. Our NoFo team is here for Alice Beach Crafted. A huge deal for us, and Johnny is going to walk us through a tasting of some of our NoFo spirits.
Yeah.
So, fantastic. Thank you, Johnny.
How you feeling? What are you learning so far? We've covered a lot of mistakes, things not to do. But now it's time for us to dive into things to do. These are shifts, 5 particular shifts that we've identified that Brian and Shannon had to make in order to create the life that they have with their exit, with their portfolio companies, and just with a better quality of life overall.
Yeah, there are so many times that I can remember as we were building Belay where we would like say, I can't imagine not having this area of responsibility. Like I will never give up the role of CEO, right? Like we've said
Guilty.
that. We've said that.
Yeah.
And it was the right thing at the time. But I think we have to give ourselves permission as business owners to reimagine and dream big again about our businesses. And once we did that, once we had a dream that was beyond the business, it made the decision of actually, maybe I don't have to be the CEO of this forever. Maybe I can train somebody up who's a perfectly competent and amazing leader to take my place in this, so that my vision or our vision can be bigger than this one business.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we've been able to get to over the last couple of years.
I'm Trisha Shartino, currently the CEO of Belay, but 20-year friend of Brian Miles. Known Brian since 2005. Started with him at Belay at 2010, and here we are, 15 years later, CEO of the organization, and just doing life. Doing life looks like walking a really great balance between running a very growing, successful organization and also making room for life. That to me is doing life.
We're going to talk about the last 15 years. I want to highlight some things for you guys. I want to walk down memory lane. I want to celebrate what we have done and accomplished. I thought it would be amazing to bring out Brian and Shannon Miles. Welcome to the stage, guys.
When you're at this point and you meet a chasm in your business, and we talk about these chasms a lot with owner, the first thing is to celebrate it and to acknowledge, like, hey, this is going to be hard, but this is communicating to me that when I meet this chasm, it's going to create growth, ultimately, if I can jump it well. But see, the chasm isn't the thing to focus on. The thing that you need to focus on is the vision, is where you're headed with this business, your owner's intent. And if you have big owner's intent, then what happens is you're going to meet several chasms along the way. And you celebrate them, you see them for what they are, you critically think them through, and then you make the leap, and then you get another chasm to jump, and another chasm to jump. And you're doing that because the chasm isn't the focus, it's the long-term vision for where you're headed with this business and what your intent is.
And I think with each chasm you work through, you prove to yourself that you can do it. So then they stop becoming the end of the world. They stop becoming something that you fear, and then you start to just embrace them as part of the process for growth.
Number 1, from owner-operator to owner-investor. This is basically what we like to call the step back to scale principle. So we already talked about the mistake that most business owners are trapped inside the business, wearing every hat or a lot of them. They're working too much in the business and not on it. You've probably heard that a lot. And the shift is that instead of running every detail, they build systems, processes, and leadership teams to run the business without their constant involvement. So the key mindset shift is, I am the architect and leader. I am not the laborer of my business. Shift number 2 is growth at all costs to profitable, predictable scaling. The mistake that we've talked about already is most business owners chase growth for growth's sake. It's what actually burns out a lot of business owners.
There was this growing sense in us that we had to do something different for the sake of freedom. And sincerely, it wasn't about having just a bunch of money. It's actually, for us, the driving factor was freedom.
Yeah, I think for me it's easy. Once you have a vision, a very clear vision and mission for your business, anytime you're having those struggles and you don't know what's ahead, just pause and go back to that mission and that vision.
And then the idea for what this has ultimately come to be was, we just wanted to create an organization that worked for everybody. We wanted it to make sense for us as owners. We wanted team to be a huge part of it, and culture, and to really be able to serve a customer base with excellence. So if you think about like the hedgehog concept, with Jim Collins, where it's like, what are you passionate about? What can you be the best in the world at? And what is an economic driver?
Yeah, I think a lot of business owners just don't think about, the personal side of the business for themselves. Like they're like Shannon just expressed, like she's thinking about this, and this is something that's very personal to her, but it shows up in business. And I think that we want to put up this firewall between what is professional and what is personal. And those firewalls need to come down, because you're a whole person. When you go home, you're as much a leader there at home as you are in the workplace, and vice versa. You're still that dad, or you're still that spouse at work, and you're still that person at work. And so, like, knocking the firewall down between professional and personal is really important. You know, for example, I see a lot of business owners, they say, I just don't have enough time to make the change. That's just not true. They have plenty of time. Everybody's got equal amount of time. What it is, they've just said to themselves is like, I'm not going to critically think about this. I'm not going to sit down and challenge this. I'm not going to journal on it. I'm not going to wrestle this to the ground and make the change happen.
Things happened. We started Belay. He started Belay. I joined him from the beginning. Things were growing. Work needed to be done.
I think I was like hire number 6, W-2 hire number 6. I could feel that they were really passionate about helping entrepreneurs, business owners, nonprofit leaders, really leaders in general, who were burdened and who were overwhelmed, and they didn't know where to turn.
From the first spark to the biggest bang, Belay's been lighting it up. And now you can take that fire with you every single day. That's because at Belay, we don't just ignite passion, we fuel it.
You see all these people out here?
You know, he's the owner, you know, of this business that we're growing. And he's like, I need you excited we're growing, not stressed out about all the work. And I'm like, but I am, you know? And he said, okay, well, I didn't ask you to, and go build a team. If the work has to get done, no, I never said you do all the work, just the work has to get done. And I was like, okay, you know, that was when I realized.
What are you guys doing?
Fucking me up in my jam.
See you later.
The tears were there.
Moves, make them happen.
So the shift is focusing on profitable growth over fast growth. You want to focus on higher margin revenue, recurring income models, automation, etc. So the key mindset shift here is more revenue doesn't mean more success. Profit and predictability do.
Part of what we're talking about with Owner is the walls that we've hit, you know, that I've hit along the way, whether it's feeling like this business has completely outgrown me. I don't know if I'm the right leader for it anymore, I just don't know if the schedule's gonna work for our family and our kids, and how do you juggle it all? Like, once you kind of work through those walls, or break through the walls, or climb the walls, however you get on the other side, for me, every time that's happened, I have just felt so much stronger.
Shift number 3, from I'll do it alone to leveraging an elite group of people, or what we like to call the strategic community principle. So we've talked about the mistake. In fact, most of this documentary is helping you highlight the fact that a lot of business owners just do it alone. They struggle, they've tried to figure it out by themselves, which leads to isolation, bad decisions, and slow growth. Obviously, we've covered a lot of this so far. So the shift is just to open up. The best business owners lean on an elite group of peers or mentors or proven experts. So the key mindset shift here is, as much as you've heard this principle over and over, it's true. Your net worth is built on who is in your network.
And the reason why we wanted to start Owner is because we have a heart for business owners. And after literally thousands of conversations with business owners over the course of 15 plus years, I mean thousands, we see lonely and isolated business owners. We see business owners that, you know, they're maybe producing an outcome at work, but they're off the rails at home, or vice versa. And our heart is with business owners, and that's why we started this nonprofit. So we stand out significantly in that way, just because what we're trying to do here is to create a movement of folks that value personal development as much as they do professional development, and they see their role as a business owner in that capacity.
Shift number 4, from sacrificing your personal life to designing your business around life. Again, the owner's intent principle we've talked about. The mistake is that a lot of business owners just let their business dictate the life instead of the other way around, deciding that sacrifice is the only way.
And so I thought in some ways that was fortunate because I was able just to like only sacrifice myself and not an entire family in the pursuit. But I didn't realize, what kind of precedent I was setting at the time and how unhealthy that was just for myself and my being. Until someone luckily came in and was like, I think we can help you here a little bit. And this was even after like being around all of you guys and just, thinking this just must be the cost that you have to pay.
Okay, it was my 4-year-old that was the one that stepped in for me because Wells drew a picture of me crying one day with an X on it and handed it to me. And I was like, I think I should change that.
The
image I wanted to protect.
I come from a long line of workaholics. So like my grandmother literally apologized at Thanksgiving. And she's like, I'm so sorry, this is my family. Because now she's mad when she hurt. Because her own children won't show up for Thanksgiving. Because they're all working. And she's like, I did this. I created this kind of trend in our family. We don't slow down for one another, And so I think, so I kind of walked into it, that's all I understood, And so then you add the fact that I wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was 15 years old. My first sucky job at Chuck E. Cheese. And you end up, some of us who, I think for me at least, I held it in such a esteem. Like it was an idol, honestly. Business ownership was an idol.
Yep.
And I was infatuated with an idea of what my life would be like and what it would look like. And I think it took me seeing, not just out of balance from a time perspective, but out of balance from a heart and mental perspective. I was giving it my best, not God, not my family. It got the best of me and not like just took me out. And I had to see the pain it caused other people to not have that level of access and then try to figure out, to your point, Brian, integration.
The shift here at Owner is we define clear personal priorities, family, health, travel, etc. And we design the business around that to support it. Again, this is not a lifestyle business that we're designing. We're just designing the business to support the whole person that is you. We get more into that a lot inside of the Owner course we're going to talk about shortly. And so the key mindset shift is a business should serve my life, not consume it. For example, inside of the Owner course, inside of episode 3, we create what's called an owner's intent plan, helping you define the exact schedule, income, lifestyle, and outcome that you want, and then reverse engineer that business model to match it. Shift number 5 is from one income stream or one business to multi-asset wealth or a portfolio approach, which is what Brian and Shannon talk a lot about in season 3 of the Owner courses, which we're going to talk about shortly. So the shift is to treat the business as a cash flow machine to fund other businesses, investments, etc. So the key mindset shift is my business is a wealth building tool, not just a paycheck, even if that paycheck is really good.
I don't think it's ever too late to change. It's just never too late to change. I think that you can just stop, gather the reality of your situation, confront it, and then make decisions in the opposite direction in most cases, and be humble. Like, humility can help you out of the grave, it really can. If you can just say, you know what, I need help, or I need to apologize, or I need to go do this thing, and I'm gonna have to eat some crow, or I'm gonna have to put in the work. Just, humble yourself and get after it. I think that that's the first step, is just acknowledge that, like, you got there, no one's coming to save you. And it's time for you to act in a direction that gets you out of that situation. And it might be a big thing or a small thing, or a series of iterative things that have to happen.
It's never too late to grow and shift and transform your business. And the Owner course is here to help you make a few adjustments. There's a lot of ways to grow your business, but we made this with you in mind to help you grow your personal life and your business life all at the same time. So pick up the course and let's get into the next chapter. So to sum it up, we've talked about a lot today. You've traveled around the country with us, identifying what some of the old ways of doing business are. And we found some new ways too that you can start to apply in your life. Principles that Brian and Shannon have used to create their own success and many others. So now it's time to discuss the actual plan. And that's exactly how we can help you. Now we're off to Drogheda, Ireland to discuss the new way forward, where Brian and Shannon have some interests in some soccer teams out here, where they built a totally separate business based on the principles that we've talked about so far.
Today is one of those days where we're hoping to get to the bottom of what the future looks like.
So they took the same philosophies they used for Belay and injected that into a new brand called Nofo. They invested into some soccer teams, in culture, in leadership teams, in product, and they used the same principles that we've talked about to build an entirely new brand. And we're showing you this just to let you know that these principles can apply to many different industries, regardless of what you're in.
There have probably been times when there was an opportunity to do kind of the lower character thing, or, you know, take a shortcut or do an end around or do something that, you know, wouldn't be favorable for me. And every single one of those times he's chosen the high road, and it just fosters trust. One of our core convictions at Nofo is camaraderie, and that working definition for us is mutual trust and mutual friendship.
So we want to help you implement some of these principles into your business to create a new way forward. And how we did that is we created 3 seasons with 8 episodes per season that help you go through the stages of business ownership. Maybe you're trying to crack your first 7 figures in the hustler phase, or you're in the entrepreneur phase and you're trying to build culture and establish leadership teams, or you're in the CEO and owner phases as you're maybe establishing your company for a sale or for having more freedom. And Brian and Shannon have lived through every single one of these phases. They don't need your money. They're just here to help you through the stages to create the life you want. So if you've watched this far, first of all, thank you. And also, it means that this is likely resonating with you. It means that you're at some stage in your business where you want to break through and experience more personal and professional success. And so we're about to head into the final location and the final chapter, the final choice that you're about to make to step into this new way together.
You got approved. Yeah. We just scored a goal, baby.
Yeah.
Nathan Lowe put the ball in the back of the net for us. We're now 1-0.
At the beginning of this film, we started with Brian and Shannon in the car, talking about how they were on the brink. Their family was falling apart, and they didn't know what to do. So now as we close out this movie, over the next few minutes, we're going to go back to Georgia and go back to the conclusion of that story.
I don't think it was a coincidence. You know, when Rainey and Harper were in the hospital down in Atlanta in Children's Healthcare, and we didn't know what was going on with Harper, and Rainey was just really sick with a really bad flu, high fever, and we had both our kids in a hospital at the same time. And I went into that interfaith chapel and I prayed, like, God, I just need you to intervene. I need you to intervene. Like, I don't know what to do, and I need you to intervene. I don't think it's a coincidence that within 36 hours, I'm now in the hospital.
You were in the hospital. That was the intervention.
That was the intervention.
Careful what you pray for.
Like, I just didn't get it. But
Yeah,
now,
you're
obviously,
right.
as an older guy, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, God did intervene, and he did show me that health was very important. And part of the story of, like, you know, you can't have the blessings of all the stuff if you don't take care of your body that I made you, you know? And so I do think that part of that prayer was immediately answered within 36 hours.
Yeah.
And right near that hospital just happened to be the bank where Brian and Shannon both cashed in their 401ks and went all in on their first business together.
Well, go ahead and retell the story.
Do you remember when we walked in there and then there was that office over here and then the kids were like in tow?
I do.
We were like freaking out.
And it honestly feels like yesterday.
Yeah. I do remember feeling like if we lose this all, at least we tried.
Yeah.
I remember feeling that way. Like, I didn't feel as scared
Yeah,
then.
I did.
I just
felt
thought it was going to work.
I felt reckless a little bit for me.
Yeah.
I just carried the weight of it.
Well, we also had people like telling us, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing Why are you both doing this at the same time? Shouldn't he start it and then you keep your job and your benefits? Like, why does that have to be both of you all at
the
once?
same time.
Yeah. And I think it had to.
This is our old neighborhood. This is where we started Belay. This is the house that we started Belay in our basement back in 2010.
Yeah, it's this house.
With the truck in it right now.
On the right.
They kept the
It
color
looks
scheme.
great.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. So that was Harper's room in the upper right-hand corner, Rainey's room in the middle. Our bedroom was behind the garage on the second floor. That was a playroom in the front on the right, and then the dining room's behind that, and then the kitchen and living space.
We planted that cherry tree when Rainey was a toddler right in the front yard. Yeah. It's a good house for us.
Yeah.
And we experienced a lot of cool things here.
You know, when we originally tried to figure out a system for mentoring that wasn't, direct 1 to 5, 1 to 7, whatever, we envisioned it as a for-profit, where we were creating content that we could sell, and therefore we would need to promote, and we'd need to be super active on social, and a lot of that, we were forming that in the first 3 months of 2020.
Of COVID, the pandemic.
So, the concept was, how you can own your business and not run your business. And the timing wasn't right. I mean, during COVID, people were just trying to figure out how to keep the lights on. So we couldn't figure out how to make this thing work. And so we just shut everything down and said, it's not the right time. When it is, we'll know. And then Brian had the idea, because, the desire never went away. Like, we still wanted to figure out how to help people at scale, but the for-profit model just didn't make sense. And we're tired of starting businesses too.
Yeah. Guilty.
So Brian's like, why don't we just make it a nonprofit? And I'm like, that's brilliant. And I think that's part of what makes Owner different. Like, if you don't resonate with the content, that's cool. If you feel like, good for them, not my journey, respect.
So this is it, the end of this film. But it's the beginning of something a lot more important. Because what you do next, it's not just another business decision. It could very well be a defining moment. Because now you see the truth, the old way of doing things, the grind, the overwhelm, the isolation. It's ultimately a trap. And it's why a lot of entrepreneurs end up so burnt out, broken, divorced, etc., or they're just stuck in a company that they can never escape from. But like we've illustrated, there is another way. It's a smarter way, it's a proven way, and it's a way that frees you up instead of trapping you down. And that way starts with Owner. Our desire is to help you apply this new way into your business. And here's how it works. So, we want to invite you into season 1 of the cinematic step-by-step guidebook that we designed. You can join by donation only. There's no massive buy-in, there's no hidden agenda, there's no upsell. It's really just a simple decision to invest your energy into applying what you've learned today. The reality is this: you don't have to do this alone. In fact, now you have a choice. The choice number 1 is that you can stay where you are, ignore what you've learned today, keep operating the way you've always operated, and hope that maybe things will change someday. But someday usually never comes. And that data is clear. Most businesses, they never sell, most entrepreneurs never escape, and most people never take control of their time or their income or their life, which ultimately is just brutal. Which is why we want to invite you into choice number 2, ultimately stepping into a new way. Stepping into a business that runs without you, stepping into a strategy that leads to real freedom, and stepping ultimately into the first season of owner, into the next level of your life. Because today you've seen the truth. The only question is, what are you going to do with it?
I do think we start business and think success is just that up and to the right graph. And if anything different is going to be failure. But I think I would tell myself back then, business or life is not just about, or not even about what you do. It's all about like who you're becoming. And so I think it's this, we talked about formation, this idea of like, we're going to be formed no matter what. So I think choosing intentionally, like, what are we being formed by? And not just chasing that up into the right success. So the highs, the lows, all of that is leading to that formation.
That's so good.
Yes, and where's Jeremy?
Right here.
Yes, and life is long. We have a long time on this journey, Lord willing. And I think our responsibility as business owners is to know ourselves and become the healthiest version of ourselves, not just for ourselves, but for other people. That's the journey.
If you've been doing business alone, and if any of this has resonated with you, I would absolutely encourage you to get more involved. I feel like I am a before and after when it comes to mentorship or just learning from other business owners. So I've had the business where I was alone and didn't know what I was doing, and now I have a business after selling that one that is, the business is healthier, and more than anything, I feel like I'm so much healthier. So absolutely, click the link, get involved.
So if you're thinking about exploring this content, you need to. Most people, if you're like me, you're thinking a certain way, and you're stuck in that thinking because it's just your brain. And for me, I needed somebody else's brain in my brain. I needed some suggestions. I needed those questions. I don't think we can make those breakthroughs alone. So you got to check this out.
If you're still undecided after listening, you might think that you can still continue on your own, and you might, but those odds are not in your favor. And I would encourage you to move forward, get involved, take the next step. You will have a great ROI, and I would say it would be both measurable and immeasurable for the ROI that's going to have on your life personally.
So I was skeptical when I was first given an opportunity and approached by Brian to be mentored by him one-on-one, and with a group of these amazing guys you've gotten to meet during this documentary. And I said yes primarily out of ego. I mean, I knew I wanted someone to come into my life and help. I felt alone. I knew that I didn't have all the tools, information yet. But if I was honest, I didn't really want anybody to know everything. Because I knew knowing everything would require me to do the thing I was the most scared of, and that was being open with other people. I had built a story around myself, to myself, about who I was and what I was about, and how, and I kind of protected that veneer as long as I could. And the questions that Brian asked, even when it was time to apply to join his group, they were the kind of questions I knew if I was going to join this group, I wouldn't be able to remain the same.
So if you're in a position where some of this is resonating with you, or it's just you, or you've got a growing business or team, this is a huge opportunity to make an investment, not just in yourself, but also in your team and your family. And I would argue that the downside of taking the next steps with Owner, exploring it, are really minimal. I really see no downside to making the investment yourself and your team. And I'd encourage you to check out the link below, follow along with Owner, and see what's in store.
If you just watch this and even a piece of it resonated with you, I know you are going to get so much more benefit out of tapping into the greater resource that Owner has created. And I know that because I've been able to tap into this. And there are times where business ownership and this entrepreneurial journey feel so isolating. And that can be isolating during seasons of failure, but it can also be isolating during seasons of success. And you often feel like no one else is going to get this, and that then becomes lonelier. So the best thing you can give yourself is an investment in yourself, an investment against that loneliness by understanding that other people are going through it too. And this will not only change the trajectory of your business, but it will change the trajectory of your life. And I know that because it did it for me. So we would really invite you, click the link, follow along, join everything that Owner is building.
Some really wise people once told me, if you want to go fast, you should go alone. But if you want to go far, you need to go together. And I believe that's truly what Owner is building, is you're finding other people to connect with in this community. And that's truly what's going to help lead to your success. And so, like anything in entrepreneurship or starting your own business, it's not about how much you've thought about an idea. It's all about taking action. Almost every time something good has happened, it's because you took action.
Wow, we made it to the end. Well done. If you watched this far, we've given you stories, statistics, illustrated points, principles, and at this point you can't unsee it. You can't unfeel what you felt today. You can't unlearn these new stages, which means the choice that is in front of you could impact everything. Your family, your legacy. Many times people will watch this part, they'll come to a choice, and they'll do nothing. And then 6 months from now or a year from now, they'll come up for air again, remember what they learned, and realize that they should have taken action a long time ago. So you can be one of two people. Someone who watches this, gets entertained, laughs, gets a couple insights, and then does nothing. And then 6 months to a year from now, you come back and finally take that action and make that choice. Or you can be the second person who jumps in, takes action, and takes control back inside of your business, your personal life, and beyond. And the good news is that we're not here to profit off of your pain. This is a nonprofit. The reason we are inviting you so strongly is because we hold the convictions that these principles can unleash the freedom that you want for yourself and your family and your legacy, for your employees, for your leadership teams, even for the marketplace that you want to lead. And so that's why we're so passionate about you jumping in, devouring the principles, applying them, so that you can make the greatest impact of your life. It's time. There's nothing left to watch. You know what to do. On this page, there's a button that you can click. You sign up, choose the donation amount that you want to add, and then immediately you'll be taken into your membership area, and you can start watching this immediately. So, without further ado, take that action, and let's ride it on out in Jackson.